thought I would make one video about what is yoga really about. And in this video I will talk about the meaning of yoga and a little bit about the history and the styles, and also what reality is according to yoga. When people hear that I've been doing yoga most of my life, they usually respond like, okay, then you must be really flexible and really strong, and then you can do all kind of acrobatics and gymnastics. And I'm like, no, not really, because that's not what I have trained for. And I also read comments on social media. One woman, she wrote, I've been doing yoga for 3 years. I still don't know what I'm doing. And another comment I read was, all kind of movement can be called yoga. And I have even met somebody who have read the Bhagavad Gita, which is a book on yoga, and thought that it was Hindu philosophy, but not yoga. It's like people are getting so used to that yoga is all this physical gymnastics and that's it. And it's really not. If we start with the definition of yoga, yoga is regarded as a divine science of life. And the word yoga means to join or to unite your individual soul with the absolute consciousness, or with spirit, or the absolute or pure consciousness. Call it whatever you like. In yoga, the absolute is called for Brahman. And And a yogi is a person who is adept at meditation, according to the Bhagavad Gita. And if we look to the history, then the first mention of yoga was about 4,500 years ago in a book called the Vedas. And the Vedas translate to the book of knowledge. And then about almost 2,000 years later, the Upanishads was written, and it's from there that we have the main teachings of yoga. And in the Upanishads also we have the philosophy called Vedanta. And central to Vedanta is the idea of one absolute consciousness, and which penetrates the whole universe, or underlies the whole universe. And then in the same time period, a few hundred years after the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita was written. And this is maybe the best known work on yoga. And then after 300 years after the Bhagavad Gita was written, then the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali was written, and that's where we find Raja Yoga and the 8 steps to yoga. And then, 1,800 years later, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika was written. So that's just about 500 years ago. And that's where we find the physical positions called asana. And also in this book, there's written about breathing exercises. But most places in the West, when you go to a yoga studio or to a fitness center or something like this, wherever you go to find yoga, you usually do the yoga positions, right? Like you start with 3 deep breaths, then you make a lot of the different kinds of yoga asana or yoga positions. And then when you have done that for about an hour, then you finish with 5 minutes of relaxation. And that's it. No breathing techniques. I think in India, everywhere I went in India, they're teaching breathing techniques. That's just a big focus in India, along with the physical exercises. And then to clarify, then there's 4 main styles of yoga according to these old texts, yeah? To the Upanishads and to the Bhagavad Gita and the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. So there's Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga and Raja Yoga. These are the 4 main styles. And they all lead to liberation of the spirit. So what we mean with that, it means that it liberates you from the illusion of time and space and causation. For example, Karma Yoga, it teaches you to do selfless service. So it means you do something for somebody and you don't think about the gain or the reward of the work that you're doing. You are giving it to God. And that is said to channel the ego to become spiritual. And then you have Bhakti Yoga, it's the yoga of devotion. And the Bhakti Yogi is motivated by the power of love and sees God as the embodiment of love. And the Bhakti Yogi is using prayer and ritual to transmute the ego into devotion and unconditional love. And then there's the Jnana Yoga. And you cannot do Jnana Yoga unless you have done Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. And the Jnana Yogi is using his intelligence and intellect to look into his own nature. And then you have Raja Yoga, which is like the 8 steps to yoga, right? Where you have 4 external limbs and 4 internal limbs. And so that's the 4 main styles. And Hatha Yoga is not included there because it came so much later, like almost 2000 years after the other styles of yoga was mentioned. So it's not mentioned in the older texts. And then if we look at reality according to yoga, it's like opposite from the world that we are living in. Because reality, by definition, is unmoving, unchanging, it's undifferentiated, and it's formless, and it's infinite. And everything which is in movement, like the manifest universe, like the world like we know it, it's an illusion. And so the way that yoga explains it is that it's like in the cinema, right? You have a big screen, and the screen that you are looking at, that's reality. And behind you, there's a projector that shows the movie, right? And this is us people, our mind and our feelings. We are projecting onto the screen of life what will then after become our reality, our life. And we are doing that with our mind and our emotions. And so this, in a way, it's good news. In another way, it's a big responsibility. Because if we are totally responsible for everything which happens in our lives, and it's not always beautiful things that happen, and if it's to lie on us, it's a little bit hard. But then again, yoga and spiritual life, it's razor sharp. And but we do have, with yoga, we get the opportunity to have more control of our mind and our emotions, because we are doing pranayama, which is the breathing techniques, and then we do meditation. And that's like we get like a kind of space inside ourselves where there's quiet, where there's emptiness. And then when we finish to meditate, then we actually take this energy with us throughout our day. So when something happens, we have the opportunity to have time within ourselves to see what is happening, and then instead of reacting, we can choose to respond. Yeah, so we can, maybe by reaction within ourselves, we think, like this and go crazy or get angry or something. But then we have the opportunity to respond instead and say, wow, this is like a test, and I'm not gonna throw any more of this rubbish up on my screen of life. So you can choose not to react, instead to respond with something positive and just let it go. Whatever bad it is, let it go. Get rid of it and consciously project something good. Like, okay, this was not so good, but something better is gonna happen to me. Or something like that. And then like that, tune the mind to think some positive things in the situation instead of the negative that's coming in your face. And sometimes we don't remember that we have projected something negative onto the screen of life, but I'm sure that if you think about it and you think about the things that have happened in your life that has really, really hurt you, maybe you can remember that you were kind of assuming or expecting that that would happen. I know for me, I have definitely done that. And then there are things that we don't remember that we have projected onto the screen of life. We don't remember that we have assumed that something more or less horrible have happened in our life. And yoga explains this as like from karma, from another time, that we don't remember another life where we have projected that onto the screen of life. And so that being said, yoga also believes in reincarnation, because according to yoga, everything is energy. And energy is never born, and it's never finishes. It just transforms. So if we, with our body full of empty atoms, if we are just energy, then there's no death, there's no end. There's only a transformation of ourselves. And the way that yoga describes it is like our life is like a school, and with every life we are learning more and more about what is real and what is an illusion. And with every lifetime we live, the veil of illusion become more and more thin. So we are seeing reality for what it really is. And I think that's all I want to say for this video. And my cat, she wanted to be also in the video. So thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one. Ciao.